Hutia te rito, hutia te rito te hara ke hea he kore mako e ko, ki pai ki au. He aha te mea nui, he aha te mea nui o te ao, maku e ki atu. Hei tangata, hei tangata, hei tangata hi. Ai kia ora te pānau. Te mea tūtahi māku e whakapetai tō mātou matuni te rangi, mōna tiaki i a mātou e huhi mai i tēnei rā. Ko te kingi tuhetia, tēnā koe, i ngā hauepa, tēnā koe. Nō reira, nau mai haere mai ki te rā o te kingitanga. Nau mai haere mai ki te raupapa, 700,000 K, way to go. So, ko Maili Rakana taku ingoa no Ngapui ahau. Mō te tau te maunga, ko Hikirangi, te awa, ko taku hapu te orewai. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, nau mai haere mai. Welcome. We have a captivated audience. We've closed all the doors so you can't go out. And we've got some really exciting things for you to share with you today, as well as to let you know about our scholarships from Tāwera. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Richard Jefferies, who is a favourite person when he says, yes, you've been accepted. Mr. Richard Jefferies is no Ngāti Raukawa, no Ngāti Tūkōrehe. He is currently the CEO of Iwi Investor, which is a Māori finance company. He is currently also has a Bachelor of Management Studies, so we have something in common with him. We have BMSs too. He has also a Diploma of Teaching. Mr. Richards has 6 children, 2 of which are currently enrolled at the University of Waikato. One of them, his oldest son, was lucky to be a successful recipient with him in 2011 with my daughter. And also he is involved in marae and hapu activities. So ho mai te paki, and we'll take you from there.
Kia ora tātou. Tuatahi e tikana ki te tautoko i ngā mihi, ngā wehi ki tō tātou matunui te rangi. O tira ona manaaki tangirugi a tātou i tēnei rā. Tēnei rā e whakanui ai tō tātou kīngitanga. Nō reire tikana ki huria nōna whakaaro ki tō tātou kingi a tūheitia. O tira tana hoa rangatire, noho mai nei kanui hoki te mihi ki a koe kuara mai ki te whakarongi tēnei o nā kōrero. Taino rā ki te mana o tēnei whenua, o tira taku mōhio a Ngāti Wairere, hoi anō Waikato whānui. He piko hitāni wha, kia ora hoki tātou. Kia ora everybody. It's good to see you all here today. I was just saying that for those of us that had lunch earlier hosted by the VC, we were well looked after. I should have stopped at the mains and left the dessert, but couldn't resist, so never mind. And of course we had the opportunity to listen to Waiora, so that was really nice too. So it's good to be here again. I come here every year to Kīngitanga Day to talk about our scholarships. And it's been interesting for me as an alumni of this university to watch the large number of Waikato students being successful in our scholarship program. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the scholarships, but before that I'm actually going to do a bit of a presentation I did at our annual conference a couple of weeks ago. So apologies to those of you that were there just 2 weeks ago at Claudelands. You will have heard some of this if you were here at the time that I presented this. And the reason I'm starting here is that this presentation really gives a bit of a context for the scholarships. It started out as an idea around Māori capability building. Te Pūtea Whakatapu Trust is an offshoot of the Māori Fisheries settlement. But our focus is education and training, and we've developed a focus around building Māori capability into the Māori economy or into Māori business, really. And that is the reason why we've set up these scholarships. for which students from the University of Waikato have been very successful. But I think what has emerged over the last few years is an understanding of the context, really, of what we're trying to achieve. So it's not just about scholarships. Our trust uses the iconography of Ngā Whetū Hei Whai, charting a pathway utilising the stars. And so what we are likening to where we are at is the bold decision, planning and strategy that our tūpuna used to come here from Hawaii. They had wayfinders to find their way. They had stars that they followed. They had mātauranga. We've been hearing a lot about that here today. And they knew what they were doing. And so they set a pathway for themselves into the Pacific, to the south. And they had a really strong sense of what they were going to achieve. A lot of us have been working in and talking about the post-treaty settlement era. So Māori finally are in a position, it seems, where we are re-engaging in this country's economy. We are starting to take more responsibility for decisions about our own resources and working in some of the key industries for which this country is well known for. So the iconography for us is important. What we're trying to do is actually try and understand or articulate or develop some shared visions about what the future is going to look like. And so fundamentally, we say our trust is about the future. We try and understand what will the Māori economy look like in 30 years' time. What, from what we know now, can we say about Māori and forestry, Māori and fisheries, Māori and the environment in another 20 or 30 years? Because it's really important for us as a trust, because we're trying to build capability for that future. What is clear is that the way in which industry happens today is not the way in which it's going to happen tomorrow, and certainly not in the future. So we need to be anticipating better where it is we want to go to and how we're going to get there. So we see ourselves as people who are trying to encourage and share thinking about the future. So this provides some of the context for the scholarships. So this year at the conference I spoke, this was the title of my kōrero. I'm going to just shorten it up a bit because I don't have as much time here as I did on the day. And what this was about was actually bringing together the themes of the conference and what I saw in terms of the three main areas that we covered in the conference. The first area was looking at Māori in international trade, Māori working with other Indigenous peoples in international trade, and we had some speakers from Canada, First Nations, come down. And we also had some guest speaker from Iceland. Now the second theme of the conference was about kaupapa Māori in modern management decisions. And so Tama Pōtaka from Tainui Group Holdings Limited presented on the back of his article that was in the New Zealand Herald a few months ago about how we acknowledge kaupapa Māori in the way in which we think when we're making corporate decisions on behalf of our people. And the third theme was about where we're trying to go to, the future of the Māori fisheries industry. And as I was thinking about these things, I came up with this presentation. Tērā nā tamariki toa, nā te kotahitanga kei te rangi e haere ana. Nā te kōti tēnei kōrero, tēnei ōhāki, tēnei matakite. So what I want to say first is that from what I know, and I'm still learning, we are, at the end of the day, are a spiritual people. And if we're going to make effective decisions in the Māori economy going forward, we have to understand what is it about our spirituality that undermines the way in which we make those decisions and the way in which we behave and act. And what I put to the conference a couple of weeks ago was the challenge, I suppose, about the extent to which we, particularly those of us working in business, Māori business in particular, Māori-owned business, Māori businesses that are there for our people, do we still believe in the things that we say about our spiritual side? Do we still follow through? And are we still mindful of the fact that we are spiritual people, that people like the Kōti and others have actually clarified for us from the past going into the future their expectations of us as a people? And I picked this one in particular because it struck me as something that highlights, I suppose, what we're trying to achieve with the alumni that are coming through our scholarship program. And that is, Te Kōti and others knew that there was going to come a time when there'd be a new generation of young people who would come through. And through collaboration and unity, they would actually lead us across the sky into a new future. That's the way I'm interpreting what Te Koti has said here. And I suppose that's what we're, if you like, putting on or expecting of the young people that are coming through our scholarship program, because at the end of the day, you are the privileged few still, unfortunately, amongst our people who are coming through with the kinds of degrees we need, and we need you to lead and drag others into the fray. So never forget who you are spiritually. Mana atua. Mana whenua. And I continue to, I was just having a chat about the environment, continue to try and remember that all the kōrero, all of our mātauranga says to us that mana whenua is critical to who and what we are. And we had Sir Mason Jerry at the conference, and one of the things he pointed out right up front, one of the things he noted was that it's very hard to be tangata whenua if you don't own any whenua. And the reality has been that over the last 20 years in particular, the proportion of land per capita owned by Māori is decreasing. And one of my hobby horses, because I've worked past life as 15 years as a consultant, working with Māori land blocks and corporations, is that for my money, one of our key strategies, doesn't matter whether it's Tainui Group Holdings or your local land trust, we need to be acquiring more land. And personally, this is my personal view, China is an issue for us because unlike other people who purchase farms in this country, I expect that they will be holding onto that land for another 1,000 years. So, it's nothing against the Chinese. They want to feed their people, and that's great. But for me, it's about us also understanding that we need to be thinking hard about mana whenua and the fact that the whenua will still be an important component to our mana overall. The other part of this, of course, is that our whenua is papatuanuku. And the second challenge I put to the audience the other day was to remind us, particularly those in decision-making positions, ask them, do you see this when you look at our whenua? Do you see in your mind's eye papatuanuku when you're making those decisions about land use options? Are you thinking about mana whenua? Because for me, in terms of our whakapapa, ko rangi nui e tēnei, ko papatuanuku e takoto nei, te matua ko tahi o tātou katoa. Do we still believe and follow that thinking when we make our decisions as economic leaders? So that's mana whenua. I read pretty widely, and I don't know if many of you have read Eckhart Tolle or seen him on YouTube. He's a spiritualist really. He's actually someone who, probably like Te Koti, like Rātana, like Jesus and others, has been a student of the essence of what it is to be on this planet, actually. And so if we're talking about mana tangata, so the things I know about mana atua, mana whenua, mana tangata, is that we are all here for a particular purpose. And certainly our tikanga and our whakapapa and our mātauranga reminds us of that, and we just got to keep holding on to that. And again, what is going to be your contribution, knowing that how important you are to yourself, to your whānau, to your hapu, to your iwi, and to this country and the world. And it was interesting, we had Ernesto Ciroli from the States, who's Italian here, talking about what he has seen in his short time here. It was his first visit to New Zealand, second, about how he sees that Indigenous people like Māori actually have such a huge contribution to the whole world. And from a context of entrepreneurship and economic development, that was his view. So, mana tangata. And finally, for me, and someone sent me an email the other day who had been at the conference, and I'd never thought about it this way, but he sent me this long email. He really enjoyed the conference, and then he had at the bottom, in capital letters, mana atua plus mana whenua plus mana tangata equals mana motuhake. And so with the full pass, I thought, gee, I must use that. I must use that next time I present this. But what, in terms of mana motuhake, again, I recently came across this saying from Siapirana Ngata, still probably the most foremost Māori politician we've ever seen. And what he was saying, that I've never been subservient to a Prime Minister, and he worked with several, to a bishop, and he worked with several, and In essence, he was saying, I am first and foremost Ngāti Porou. So my challenge to all of us and to you students coming through is, who will you be first and foremost? Who will you be first and foremost? Will you exercise mana atua, mana whenua, mana tangata, and therefore I believe mana motuhake in the way in which you think about the work ahead of you, ahead of us. So that in a nutshell it was quite a bit longer on the day, so you're probably thankful you don't have to sit through the longer version, but that in a nutshell was what I presented just 2 weeks ago here at the Claudelands. So we have Ngā Whetū Hei Whai, the conference which we run every year, but it actually was set up just to support our scholarship program. And these are the 45 recipients for 2015. This year we were lucky enough to have 35 Tāwera Scholarship recipients for Māori completing a business degree, 5 Rona Scholarship recipients for those completing a fisheries and fisheries science degree, and Whānui, and these are all names of Whetū, obviously, for scholarships associated with agri-science and agribusiness. And ko ngā tamariki tō wēnei, kia mātai. And so we were lucky enough to have some really fantastic speakers present at the conference. And it's always heartening for me to be at the conference because it gives us a lot of confidence about where we're going to as a people in the Māori economy. So one of the things I was going to do is just jump across to our website. I know some of you, there's a few of you here already have received the scholarship, but I'm going to just jump to the website. One, because it's brand new, we just done it up and it looks really nice. But two, for those of you that maybe are thinking about applying next year, can know where to go. So there you go. So that's our homepage, and as you can see, our byline is Charting Pathways for Māori Education and Futures. And very simple, of course. There's a bit about the Trust. And if you're interested in any of the documents that we've developed, there's quite a bit here. This is about our purpose. But in publications, if you're interested in fisheries and some of the work that we've been doing, they're all downloadable off the website. People. It's not very nice to look at, but because it's just got us there. I should acknowledge though my fellow directors, Riki Gage, John Tamihere and Rawiri Waititi. And I'm lucky enough to be chair on the Trust. But two important bits. One is the scholarships. And if you go into here, you'll get information about the various scholarships. So the round for this year obviously is just closed. And scholarships will open again in January. The scholarship is to a worth of about $10,000. It's eligible to those who are in their final year of their degree. And you have to attend the conference, Ngā Whetū Hei Whai, as part of the scholarship. So it's just work by numbers. I think it's been fantastic here to see Waikato do so well. Every year, and this is our 6th year of scholarships, Waikato University has constituted about 50% of all of our scholarship recipients, which is amazing. One, I think, because there are a lot of Māori here, although I think the number's actually bigger in some of the other business schools around the place. But also I'd like to acknowledge the work that Pauline at Pura Grey does here in terms of supporting you guys to actually get the scholarships filled out. It's a bit of a rigmarole, I know, filling out our application forms. Because one of the key things about our scholarship, and this goes back to the context, what I was talking about before, is the key criteria for us here are, first, a commitment to your whānau, to your marae, and to your iwi. That's number one for us. Number two is your commitment to te reo Māori, and we use that as a bit of a marker for number one. And the third one, which is unusual for these kinds of scholarships, is your marks. So we're looking for that complete Māori doing a business degree or a science degree who is both really capable and doing well in their program, but also has a commitment to their people. And those are the kind of leaders that we're looking for. So as a result of this, we started in 2011 with our alumni. And just so we can see the photos of some of these people here in the crowd, these are our scholarship recipients for this year. And if you want to have a closer look, so here we have Hana Te Kōwhai. Sorry, Hana. So you can see what you're doing, and people are really interested in this because, we have a lot of tribal leaders show up. We had people like Missy Te Kanawa and Shay Wilson there, and it's always interesting to hear them say, "Oh, I didn't know," making the connection with some of these young people coming through. So yeah, if you want to see all the different ones from this year, they're all here. And again, about a full half are from the University of Waikato. And similarly, you can have a look. The new website.
Nice.
And then importantly, we've got previous years as well. And so you can see all the ones that have come through over the years. So the second part about this is that one of the key things we're trying to do through the scholarship program is to privilege our young people. When I was here, I started here in 1979. We were talking about some of the stuff we used to get up to back in the day, but and good to see the kapaka doing some of those old standards like Hironga Mai and that waiata that we used to do as a poi. But a lot has changed since that time. When I started here in 79, 10 of us enrolled in a Bachelor of Management Studies, only 2 of us finished, myself and Steve Ruru. So there weren't many of us coming out with business degrees in those days. So to see these kind of numbers now, Tāwera is, in particular, is a very competitive scholarship. We're up to about 100 now applicants each year. And the key number for us is 30 a year. We're trying to do 30 at least, but we did 35 this year, which was great. So if you get a chance, and certainly in terms of applying, you just go to the website and it's all there. And if you want to contact people, then you can talk to Carleen, who does all our work for us. So that's the website. Okay. So that's the key one. As I said, we have some fantastic speakers come to our conference. And this year we were really lucky to get Ernesto Ciroli. If you have a mind to, he's done TED Talks, so if you want to go on the internet, his talk has had 2.4 million hits. He's an expert in entrepreneurship, and he's got a program that he runs all over the world, and he's been responsible for 60,000 business startups in indigenous and remote communities all over the world, all the continents basically. And he was certainly an inspiration to us, and what the Trust has planned to do is bring him back next year, and we're going to start developing more Māori mentors under his program, who can then work in their communities to support Māori entrepreneurship. So some of you might want to get involved with that. We also had 2 fine young First Nations guys from Canada come down, young leaders working in the consultancy space, working with the tribes and bands over there. And they also, I felt, were really inspirational for us in seeing that our brothers and sisters over in Canada and places like that are in a similar space, and it was great having them here. We have some fantastic speakers come to our conference. I made a point at the conference this year that we don't advertise the conference really, and it's just about us as Māori sitting in a room and trying to think about what we're going to do for the future. That's the key part for it. So some fantastic array of the speakers this year. You should know something like Tama Pōtaka and Missy and Shay and guys like Tani Te Kingi and Tina Wilson and Graham Everett. So we have a fantastic lineup. Some of those look a bit squished. And of course we had the minister there at the dinner, and he's been a fantastic support and will be more of a support going forward. As I said, we had Sir Mason Jury there, as always, just so insightful and such a clear thinker about the future, and he's given us some really good ideas about where we can go with the kind of shared and collaborative visioning that we're doing within the Trust. And so they aren't just a bunch of scholarship recipients. Our hopes and aspirations are that they are leaders for tomorrow. You might not think it looking at the photo, but that's the expectation. Just quickly, I just want to acknowledge also our sponsors, and it's great having the University of Waikato on board this year. They allowed us, working with them, allowed us to do a few more scholarships. ASB, this year we secured 3 lots of internships. So the students had first dibs on applying for, I think it's 4 or 5 ASB internships. So we just negotiated those for this year. So those of you that have applied, good luck, because I think that's a great opportunity. Treasury also provided some internships for us this year, and we expect some of our scholarship recipients to be successful there. And also we're in discussions now with KPMG. Missy, who's speaking in the other room today, has been doing a lot of work, and we hope to have those internships there up soon. So again, opportunities for our scholarship recipients to go straight into a place where there's work. I've been talking to a bunch of other companies around as well, places like the Super Fund and NZ Trade and Enterprise, and we expect to have more internships available for our students next year. Good to acknowledge Ngā Kaitatai Māori Aotearoa, working closely with the Māori Accountants Group as well, and just trying to make opportunities for people to get placed in jobs. Māori Education Trust, someone mentioned before about picking the people that receive scholarships. We don't do it, the trust does it for us, so I always would like to acknowledge them because they're doing it for us for nothing actually. So the 130, 140 scholarship applications we received this year, we didn't even get to see them, which was really good. They read them all, and then we give them some criteria, and they ranked everybody, and we got a list. So they sent us a list of this year 45 names, and we just went, yep. And they're doing a fantastic job for us. So you can also go to their website if you wanted to get the application forms, and they can also help you with an application. So ka nui pētera. Thank you for coming, and please share this website address with anyone you know doing the degree or degrees here in the Management Studies School. Also in the sciences areas, those doing agricultural and fisheries type degrees. And also any whānau members you know at other universities. Waikato's doing really well, but we're trying to get others to lift their game. I can say it was really disappointing that Auckland University only had one scholarship recipient this year out of 45, which was kind of crazy because they've probably got more Māori students than anyone in the country. But it was good there was 4 staff there this year from Auckland University, so they're going to try and pull themselves together and actually try and compete with Waikato a bit better. We want more Māori to come through with these degrees because we need them in the companies like I work in, like Iwi Investor, companies like Tiny Group Holdings, even your trusts and corporations that you're associated with, they all need you to come through with the skills that you will have, both in te ao Māori, mana atua, mana whenua, mana tangata, mana motuhake, and all this other stuff that you learn here at the University of Waikato in your accounting classes and your marketing classes and your IT classes and all that stuff. So, ka nui pētera, i tēnei wā, charting pathways for Māori industry futures. Kia ora tātai.
He's going to come back. So just want to know that scholarships, as we know as students, is really important to the student life. And we've got the statistic that through the Tāwera Scholarship, which Richard is the chairman of, is that has paid out more than 700,000 to management students from Waikato. So what we're going to do is going to invite 3 of the students who are current recipients for 2015 to sell the program to us. Let us know where you are from, why you applied, and some things about the scholarship that you thought were really important. And we'll start off with Zachary, Katani, and then we will do Abigail and then Te Hana.
So it was, Kia ora everyone. My name is Zachary Katani, and I'm really proud to have been a recipient of the Tāwera Scholarship this year. I'm from Waikato University, most of you probably see me around. And it was just a huge blessing, first and foremost, and then a huge privilege to be able to get the scholarship. I found the conference, I wasn't actually sure what to expect with the conference, but I found it to be awesome. Over the last few days I reflected on kind of sharing things with you. I thought, it was a business conference. We had business leaders speaking. Most of us were business students. But throughout the conference, I never heard anyone talk about making money. It was all about making a difference, and that really inspired me. And that's what's remained with me. The speakers that Richard put up there on the slides, each and every one had a different perspective. And I was there taking notes in the book that was provided, and I've reviewed those notes because I hope to be able to apply some of the things that they've learned into my career going forward. And I think it was a message I needed to hear, especially the scholarships given to us in our final year. mostly, and it's something that we need to know about going into the world. It's not just about what we're learning over at management school, but it needs to be tempered by the things that experienced heads have taught us. Also on a practical level, $10,000 has come as a huge help this year for me, especially my wife welcomed our first child, and so it's taken a lot of stress off there. But then even on an intangible level, I guess, a scholarship that's $10,000, that's huge. And for a student, I think it's given me a lot of belief in myself, because it's helped me realise that's what an education can be worth, and that's what it means to some of the people who've gone before us. And so, it's helped me hugely, and I think the benefits will just keep flowing. So those of you who thinking about it for next year, apply. If those of you know people who are in a position who may be able to apply soon, let them know, because it's huge. And just once again, like to thank Richard, thank you everyone.
Kia ora tātou, my name's Abigail, and I am from Waikato Kīngitanga. So firstly I applied. I think we can all agree 10 grand. I was like, gotta get in to win. So that's one huge reason I went for it, because I knew it would help me. I'm in my final year, so I knew it would help me get overseas. That's my big goal, is to move overseas, get some experience, and that definitely helped with that. But also a lot of people said it was a great opportunity, and it wasn't until I got to the conference that I really realised that. So I think I walked away with like 50 new Facebook friends, including and LinkedIn account, got some new connections there. But for me, I walked in thinking I wanted to work in event management, and fortunately I got to meet Carly Everett, who organises the conference, and she has her own event management company, so it was really cool to have her personal contact on my email and get to talk to her and see what she's doing. So that was really awesome. I think it was just really inspiring to see so many Māori in so many different industries as well. Like, there was something there for everyone. I mean, there was 45 of us, but there was like fisheries, there was, like I said, there was someone in comms, there was marketing, there was something there for everyone. So I definitely would encourage everyone to sign up for it and give it a go.
Kua pute ruhai hawana te rangatahi nei mātou ngā uri o nanahi. E ihu one ana kia whakapakari, kia turangatira ki tēnei o hurihuri. Hei aha te a pōpō anei ki te wero titiro ki nai anei, kei reira ki te hua hononga hinengaro, he hononga wairua. He hononga ngā kau kia ora ai te whānau, kia tipu, kia rea, kia ea ngawa wata, kia puta, kia hua, kia rerenga manukura. Mauri ora e te whānau, kohana te kōwhai o hia tōku ingoa, he uri whakaheki au o ngā kāwairangatira o mātātua, tōku maru me takitimu waka anō hoki. E rangi I tipu ake au ngā kare o Waikato awa, ki ngā rekereke o te Kīngitanga anō hoki. So I was a recipient this year, and it was my privilege. I think the reason why I applied for the scholarship was because a whole lot of our friends got it last year, and I got really jealous looking at their Snapchats from the conference. So I knew that was me this year, so I got in there as soon as it opened. And I was very grateful to receive the scholarship, and my nan told me that I had to put it on my loan and stuff, but I'm going to rah at the end of the year. It's in the bag, collecting dust. No, I'm actually going to rah. But I think, they say that you should surround yourself with people who are on the same mission as you. Going to this conference and meeting the other recipients is exactly that. They say that one of your biggest takeaways would be the networks that you make with all the industry leaders, but one of my biggest takeaways was not only the food, because if you looked at the photo of us jumping in the air, I didn't quite make it into the air. But it was the relationships we made with people from other universities, sharing experiences, talking about what goes on there? Is it the same as what happens here? Talking about our dreams as well, but that was probably my biggest takeaway. And I think next year, apply. I mean, you have nothing to lose other than the time that you put into it, but apply. Kia ora.
Well, sorry, so I'd like to invite one of the inaugural recipients, is Terina Rakina, in 2011, and I'll invite her to introduce herself.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko Waikato me te ngāpui te hapu, ko Ngāti Mahanga me te Ngāti Hine, ko Waikato me ngāpui te iwi, ko Ngāti Mahanga me Ngāti Hine te hapu, ko te kaharoa te tauhinare te marae, ko Terina Rakina ahau. Aroha mai, I am a little nervous, so you'll just have to bear with me. I studied here, I believe, between 2008 to 2012. That was 5 years of my life that got taken away from me towards my degrees. And I graduated with a Bachelor of Management Studies, First Class Economics, and a Bachelor of Sciences in Biological Science. I walked away with a whole heap of knowledge, and I am employed today at Waikato Taimi. I work for my iwi as a policy analyst, and I help implement the river settlement. So I was one of the inaugural scholarship recipients in 2011. Just like you, I heard it was 10K, and I thought, sweet, I'm in. I wanted to get, because as a student, it was my 4th year. I was poor, and I had no life, and I just was like, 10K would do a whole lot for me. So I applied for it, and I was grateful to be a recipient of that scholarship. And the first thing I thought was, cool, I can survive for the next year, 2 years. That was a lot of money. I could put it to good use. It wasn't so much put it towards my student loan, it was to say I could go out tonight with my friends because I can eat. I can say, I can come to that movie because I've got $10 now. It was that level of survival, and I thought, yay. It was more of a relief for me. Then the second part, I thought to myself, when I wrote down what the scholarship would do for me and what I could do to live the dream of what the scholarship was for, I remember one of the whakatauki was to be able to walk in both worlds. And that was te ao Pākehā, te ao Māori. And I thought to myself, how can I do that? To be honest, I'm quite ngāpui hard, but I knew I was from Waikato, and I thought to myself, how could I walk with Pākehā as well as with Māori in the same instance? And going to the conference, not only was I able to see how that happens at a corporate level, I was able to meet other like-minded people, I can't remember who said it, Kachika, like-minded people like me who thought, how can we make this a possibility? And just being exposed to all those businesses and industries, you'll be surprised about what's out there. You kind of just think corporate means going to, or for myself, corporate means just going to a Western organisation. But when you get exposed to those opportunities and to those persons, you can see how much mahi is going on out there. So not only was I able to network, like you said, in that space, but I was also able to network with other recipients of the award. And to this day, I cross paths with them. So just like you said, surround yourself with like-minded people. That is the kaupapa, that is the way to go, because you will cross paths with them again. I see people that I've met at that conference in my everyday business. I'm sitting opposite at the table with them. That's how awesome it is to be in that space. So just coming towards today, I suppose the scholarship was a huge motivator for me. I didn't actually think I would work for Waikato, but I do, and I'm proud of it. But it was a big motivator to know that everything that I do with my degrees and in my mahi is for my people. That's one of the key things that help push me towards that space. So in my mahi, I work at a strategic level. I work with Crown. That means meetings with ministers as well as the CEs of ministries. And I'm only at that level. Very rarely do I go to an operational level within ministries. On an operational level within Waikato, I work with marae. I help to restore our awa, and I help to ensure that I'm realising the needs of our people and that they have a voice and that I'm speaking for them. So what I'm trying to get at is this scholarship was more than just 10K. When I think about it, it was the opportunity to come to that realisation that everything I do, it's bigger than me, which I'm ka pai with. I like serving a greater purpose than just saying I want to be financially successful. So if I could say anything for the recipients that have that whitia today, that 10K ka pai, but there's a bigger kaupapa to that whole story. Realise what you want to do, make those opportunities happen for you. Just know that whatever mahi you're going to do in future, know what purpose it serves. For me, mine was to serve my people. For you, it may be something else, ka pai. But just realise that there's a bigger world out there, and if you can tap into that right purpose, or you can tap into that bigger world, there are bigger opportunities as well. So, kia ora, that's my little spiel, my little motivation for you.
I'd like to tell the speakers that there was some water available. Okay. Scholarships are really, really important for all students. And I returned, I was an executive assistant to a regional commissioner, and I thought, this is not me. And I told my husband I wanted to go back to school, and we had a fight. Because I had a good job, I had good money, we had just bought a big house to feed for our children, and I said I wanted to go back to school. And we didn't talk for 2 weeks. And then my husband came and apologised, and he said, I'm sorry that you weren't to realise dreams, and I'm standing in your way. So he gave me 3 conditions. He said I had to stay the course. A management degree is 4 years. He said that I had to do some postgrad work, and that I had to, and the next one is that I had to have good marks. Oh, he said to me, while you're there, sweetheart, why don't you do 2 degrees? I said, I'll go sweet as. So I did. And one of them was my management degree. And, and even though my husband was making good money, we were still poor. It's hard to say, but you are. You're just making ends meet. So scholarships come in really, really handy. And the Tāwera one came up, and I suppose as students, you pore over the criteria. You pore over the essay that you have to write. You pore over, do I have these things that they want to hear? You pore over, do I have vision? Because there's lots of criteria. And you think, I thought about it many times. And I remember Zach coming to see me, and we're having this discussion about his application, what he thought, and because they're really quite strict criteria, and like you're saying, Richard, asking you to stretch, asking you to think about being leaders, and those things are really, really important. At the end, when the notifications came out, my sister got the application. My sister had applied, she got it. My daughter had applied, she got it, and I was going. And I didn't get it, and I was really upset. I was really, really upset. And then it came through by courier because they had spelt my name wrong. So I was really happy after that. And I said, when I went to the conference, there were 6 sets of sisters that got scholarships. So that's 12 out of 30 were women. That's more than half. The other thing that was really interesting is that Waikato Management School, we had 18 of the scholarships. Yeah, in Auckland was going on about, they're the big management school, they're innovative, but the mana motuhake no Waikato. And Pora has always been promotion, and we're really grateful because Richard is an alumni of Waikato, and he is going, these are things that can happen for students. I was grateful to be graded as one of the young people for a day, for a conference. But it showed, and I think about scholarships. Scholarships validate me staying at school. Scholarships mean that some people, my own whānau, my iwi, acknowledge that with my hard work that there is some benefits. And scholarships, of course, are financial, but like Terena said, is that that's only part of the trick. You can put it on your CV. You can tell them how much it was. You can say that I went to conferences and that you mixed, and I went to the last conference I went with for the Tāwera. I saw some CEOs from Miraka. They were really cool. They're trying to be Fonterra, to be a little man in a big business. But they're actually really quite successful. And they were Māori. 2 degrees. 5% now still belongs to an iwi, and yet the idea was theirs. 5% of 2 degrees is probably the biggest telephone communications in New Zealand. Honeybees. There's some really clever Māori people doing things that are really innovative. And it's a forum for us to share. I saw some women that are CEOs of their iwi. Mussels, aquaculture. And it's just really, like you're saying, something to be exposed to those type of people that just come from a little degree, maybe a little scholarship, and Tāwera has opened up the doors to look at the stars. Isn't that cool? So scholarships are validation, they're acknowledgement. Definitely, and I like what Linda Smith says when she does the Māori Excellence Scholarships for Waikato. Don't pay off your student loan. Don't go and buy a book. That's what student loan is for. Go and feed your family. Go and buy something like a hamburger or McDonald's so that your whānau is saying that we're with you. And then go and buy your little dress or a nice pair of pants so you're ready to go for the next year. And I think at my time, the Tāwera scholarships were broken into 3 parts. Your grades, I had to keep going working because my last payment is going to be dependent on my grade at the end of the year. I had to attend a conference. I got put up in a 4-star hotel with 30 other like-minded people. And I got to be with people that were thinking, somebody's thought that I was good enough to get a scholarship. And I'm Māori. So we need to share that with everybody, all our students, that it's really cool. And I met some really, I met Richard's son. He was really cool because we went to a dinner in Rotorua. He was a fishing, he got the Rona. He got the Rona scholarship, eh? Yeah. He's really cool, he's excited about going to Japan and all the things and opportunities that are available for Māori students through scholarships. So I was thinking of when he put up the years, don't put up mine because I look better now than I did 2 years ago. But without further ado, everybody, is that we'll pass a little bit more time to Richard. We've got some taonga for all our presenters, for them to come. But this is a wonderful opportunity to share with everybody. Okay? I think it's really cool. You are a recipient of Tāwera Scholarship and you have been immortalised on their webpage. And when somebody would click at you and see where they come from, and probably you could even filter to your tribe and to all the different things. So we thank you for the wonderful scholarships. I went and bought me a hamburger, and I went and took my husband out for dinner, and we spent that $10,000, and it definitely wasn't on a book to go for the next year and to feed my family. while we're there. So in the future, what have I done? I remember when they asked us at the conference, what do you want to do when you grow up with your scholarship? Probably the one that's striking to me, I wanted to be a CEO. And my thoughts haven't changed, but I'm still trying to get there. But the one that probably sticks out for me is my sister. And she said that I want to open up a university for Ngāpuhi. And she said, you better put your training wheels on, sister, because I'm going for it. So we're trying to kind of look at those, those sorts of dreams. So those are the things that scholarships can do. They open your eyes, make you want to work a bit harder. You look at, it's terrible though, Richard? You go, oh, $500, nah. 5,000, 10,000, I'm in. That's how you do it. But it validates you. You're capable of doing those things. So we'll invite, is there any other questions for the scholarships, for everybody? We'll do our taonga and then we'll invite Richard to close. You've got a couple more things. So we'll invite Abigail, Te Hana and Te Rina and Zach. Hey mate. Get your song ready. Oh, Abigail. Oh, they even make sure you've got your name on it. Oh, yeah. Zach. Okay, Richard.
Oh, kia ora tātou. Just a couple of things really. One to the ones who got up, thank you. And the big thing about the scholarships follow-up is the alumni, and we try to keep everyone in touch with everybody else. So you don't just get the network across your year, but all those past years. That's why all those faces are going to stay on the website the way they are. And part of that is about us all helping each other. You may see opportunities, and so please keep in mind the others that are following through and those amongst your alumni, because they may be looking for the kind of opportunity that you see for them, and we've already seen opportunities that people have opened up for others. Keep in touch with the Trust, because the Trust also wants to keep check of where you're going, and also we'll be making more opportunities available to help you track through your career. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that in 2017, I'd like to see you all at our conference. 2017 is my last year as a director on Te Pūtea Whakarepi Trust. And the conference that year, the focus is going to be on these young people, alumni, actually being the key speakers for the conference. So what we want to hear is where the scholarship recipients from past years have gotten to, and want to hear from them about their careers, how they're tracking, and how they're going to make a contribution, as we have today, to our people. So, ka nui pē tērā, he mihi nui kia tata, kia koe te makau, hari ana te ngākau, kia konei koe ka wani a tatau i tēnei ahe, o kia kōtau ko whiwhiki te karahepi, mahi a te mahi, Ki pai tō hararei rarotonga, ka pai hoki tēnā. Ko kōtai karino kia tono atu, o ki kā kia kōtai. Nō reira, huri noa i tō tātou whare. Tēnā kouti ki a koe, maring kanui hoki te mihi ki a koe. Nō reira, kanui pē tērā i tēnei wā, kia ora tātou. Thank you.